Fire Escape Engineers Inspector Summary video. We're here in Hanover, New Hampshire. We're looking at a fire escape that's actually two parts. We got an all-metal fire escape and we got a wood fire escape system. We're going to only talk right now about the fire escape that's made of metal, and then we will have a separate video that's going to talk about that. First of all, we're here to find out if whether or not this fire escape can be tested, pass the confidence test to proceed immediately to a load test. It can't. We have some issues with this fire escape which we're going to discuss. I have myself here, and Inspector Cunha is also on the camera, and we're going to be talking about just some of the issues that we have with the metal one. Then a separate photograph and video, especially with dealing with the wooden one and some of the concerns we have there. So let's start here. Inspector Cunha, at any time, feel free to just speak in. So some of the issues that we have down here.
Yes.
Excessive rust on these. So we got usually these rest on wood. But otherwise, we can tar these up, correct?
Yes.
Clean them all up. Any welded connections, we need to throw bolts to avoid having to x-ray or load test the welded connections. But once we've cleaned everything, we're going to pop bolts, and then we should tar these up so that as it sits here in the snow, it doesn't rot the way it is. And we got a lot of moisture because you got a lot of moss growing here, right?
Yes.
Every one of these welded connections that you see
has to take a bolt.
has to take a bolt.
Yes.
Then we got to seal this all up with silicone.
Yes.
You notice that there was an angle here?
Yeah, there was, but it's gone.
And it's actually doing the same thing as the other side, so let's go to the other side underneath very quickly. So what we're trying to avoid is
coming apart
here, and it also
coming
so
apart
this is
up
why
top.
welded connections, and she's ready to drop here. So if we were able to twist this, we can actually break this angle.
Yes.
So we have an angle on the other side that's gone. So we have the same
Problem on
the foot
this
here.
footing.
Yep. Okay. We also have an issue with the treads. Let's talk about the treads. There's rust building up. We can actually see, most likely if you aim that way, you got rust building up in all the treads, and they're all welded from above. So every single of these need to be rebolted. Okay. All right. So then on this side over here, we have the stringers look to be in good order. So they're not going to be needed to swap out these strings. It looks like 3/8 stringers, but we got the welded connection here.
Yes, we do.
Why don't you come to this side over here and just aim. So we got welded connections. Rust is corrosion is getting in there, so we need not only to clean that, we need to rebolt it. Can't put it back welded.
Correct.
We got welded brackets that you were concerned about.
Yeah, all the corners. They're all welded. They all have to be backed up, supported with bolts.
Okay.
We have a connection on the roof. It's popping up. We don't know why.
That's on this side, so you got to come in on that side.
This side's not too bad.
Yeah.
This
side.
You can already see the rust coming up.
Yeah. All right, so that needs to be resealed.
And
what about the
up
corners here?
Up top, they're already rusting out, and all have to be backed up with bolts.
Perfect. The gray. What about the railing up there?
The railing up there is bent.
Yeah.
And it has to be straightened or replaced.
What about the tiebacks into the building?
All have to be done.
It's all
tied
original
over
hardware.
again. Yep, all original square bolts.
So we have to go switch those out.
Yes.
The other side is kind of hiding behind the
wood.
No, it's the vinyl siding there, or the metal siding. I think this is aluminum. This is aluminum siding.
Aluminum.
So we might have to duplicate primarily the top one to make sure that we get a new bolt, a new screw, lag screw into that one.
That's one of the supports.
No paint on this fire escape. It needs a full scrape and paint.
Yes, it
on
does.
That. It's older than '78, so it probably has some lead. You have to be careful. Make sure that whoever's touching this is a lead renovator, has a license, the lead renovator's license. And see, what other concerns do you have here?
I have
the connections, the stringer connections at the top. They're also welded.
Everything is welded on this fire escape.
There was up here. If you want to look from here, see the stringer connections up there.
Yes.
So even the stringers. So at the bottom, she's just resting on the fire escape, but up there it's welded. We need to put bolt holes on all of those, so that we can provide other evidence of strength and avoid the load test. So this is a fully welded fire escape that basically just needs a full refurb and bolts to basically and a paint job to make
straighten
it
out
to make it avoid the load test. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Now with that, let's do a quick transition here. If you want to turn, keep looking. It transitions into a wood structure. Now we've got a lot of popping nails, a lot of popping wood. This what's the estimation that you have on this wood structure?
All the paint is coming off. It definitely needs a paint job and re-straighten out all the nails, whatever's loose.
We're going to do that as a separate connection, but this is at least 15 years old, right?
Yes.
And the average life of a deck, is...
The average life is about 25 years.
Yeah, and this one's good. Looks like it's at least 15 years into it already, so... We'll close it here, but the fire escape did not pass the confidence test, and the metal one does need refurbishing. It does need additional engineer oversight to basically determine what is going to be the repair plan for this to be shared with the building official, whether it be the building department or the fire official, and whether or not a permit is going to be needed, or whether this is going to be considered maintenance. But now, after this, we'll start talking about this particular piece of the fire escape that goes all the way down, and it is a covered structure. One last thing,
Ooh.
be aware that there's a nest of hornets over here that must be addressed. If anybody's going to repair this, that's got to be dealt with so that we don't get stung. Okay? Close it
Yes,
up.
there's two of them. There's another one over here in the corner.
Perfect.
Right there. It's all loaded with hornets.
Perfect. Fire escape engineers inspect the summary video. We're here in Hanover. This is the wood structure of the fire escape. What we have here is I don't think it's pressure treated, or there may be a few pressure treated pieces in here, but again, they're showing their age. A lot of warpage. We got a lot of moss that's growing that shows how much water is here, accumulation, trapping of water and such, and snow. And this is sort of a handmade version of a catwalk system. And again, because it's pre-existing non-conforming, we have to discuss with the city official just exactly whether or not there's any upgrade requirements at this time during this certification. So fire officials is one thing, building officials is another. We also discuss with them whether or not a permit is required during this maintenance, or whether or not they want a permit and a drawing for anything, and engineer oversight on this. Again, we got bees, we got hornets, but this is a pre-existing structure that does need a routine maintenance. So you got nails popping, we've got warpage, we've got accumulation of water, we've got rust on where it marries the two between the steel and the wood. And then as we start seeing, a lot of this is all nailed construction. So a lot of times, in order for us to not have to load test this or to buy a few more years, you're going to have to introduce metal, and a lot of metal straps, a lot of metal, a lot of screws, no more nails, because some of this wood is already soft where it's been cut. So that's one of the things. And again, that will be determined in conversations with the engineer of record and the vendor at what can you do to buy some more time on the wood structure, what can you do to buy more time on the metal structure. So there is two repair criterias. But again, warpage, trip hazards, popping nails, these are all things that are going to be dealt with during this evaluation. We've got cracked wood. And these are all concerns because, as you can see, you use the metal fire escape, but then you feed the wood fire escape, and so does that door. And everybody uses this wood to get down to the ground. So we have a lot of peeling paint, so that needs to be addressed, so that none of this is allowed to have something that could cut your hands. We have a lot of popping nails, a lot of cracked wood, and again, just showing its age. There is a roof on this, so it's part of the egress, so that needs to be addressed, and the city official may want to treat this differently. He may want to just treat the fire escape as the only concern, yet the rest of it he's going to treat it as part of a second means of egress. So we're going to have to make sure. Warpage, as you can see, the wood is bending. We got some wood in here that is basically showing its age, at least 15 years, but this is what we're concerned about. Okay, so we've got a lot of just natural requirements for maintenance, but then at the same time we always have a lot of rot, a lot of warpage that can't be fixed with no screws and no nails. Nothing can fix that. So this is going to need further investigation so that we can come up with a correct repair plan for the metal and a correct repair plan for the wood. Okay, so we're definitely showing some age here on this fire escape, and the structure does come out to here, as you can see. So it's sort of a hybrid here. This is a pre-existing non-conforming structure, and we're going to have to speak with the officials of record here to see which way they want to proceed. And again, their question is whether they want plans, drawings, engineer oversight, photographic criteria for repair, and how they want to proceed. So Firescape is not horrendous. We don't see anything right now that's showing that there's an imminent collapse of any kind, but the Firescape does need a warrant and warrant further investigation. Any questions? Firescape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. This is Inspector Meneses. 866-649-0333, 866-649-0333.